Hey everyone, Kiran here. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through installing Ubuntu Server 2404 LTS on VMware Workstation. If you're new here, my name is Kiran and I'm an IT system admin with over 20 years of real-world experience in the IT industry. Over the last 2 decades, I've worked hands-on with servers, cloud platforms, virtualization, networking, security, automation, and enterprise infrastructure. On this channel, you find clear, practical, and beginner-friendly explanations around IT administration, cloud technologies, and real production concepts based on actual experience, not just theory. All right, let's get started. Before we begin, make sure you have VMware Workstation installed on your system. You'll also need the Ubuntu Server 2404 LTS ISO file, and you can download it from the official Ubuntu website. I'm on my web browser, and I'll head over to the official Ubuntu website. The URL is ubuntu.com. Press enter. Once you're on the home page, click on Menu and click on Download Ubuntu and select Server. And I'm going to click on Get Ubuntu Server. And now I'm going to select Download Ubuntu Server. And under Manual Installation, you can see the current version of Ubuntu Server is 2404.4 LTS. That stands for Long-Term Support. And you'll see a green button to download the ISO file. And the size of the ISO file is around 3 gig. I'm going to click on this button and your browser will start downloading the ISO file. It's about 3 gigs. So depending on your internet connection, this might take a few minutes. I've already downloaded the ISO file, so I'm going to click on cancel. So once you have the ISO file and VMware Workstation installed, you're all set. So first thing, you need to open up VMware Workstation. And I'm going to click on File menu and select New Virtual Machine. Now we are presented with the new virtual machine wizard. You'll see 2 options here, typical and custom. I'm going to select typical for this walkthrough. That's going to be the easiest route for most use cases. So I'm going to click next. All right, now you need to tell VMware Workstation where our Ubuntu Server ISO is located. You'll see 3 options on the screen: installing from a physical drive, from an ISO image, or installing the operating system later. I'm going to select Installer Disk Image File ISO and then browse to where I've saved the Ubuntu Server 2404 ISO file, which is in my D drive, data drive, software, Linux, Ubuntu Server, and you can see here Ubuntu 2404. I'll select that and click open. Notice VMware Workstation detects this as an Ubuntu 64-bit OS automatically, which is perfect. So I'm going to click next. Now we get to name our virtual machine and choose where it's stored. I'm going to call this as Ansible-master-node. You can name it whatever makes sense for your environment. Below that, you will see the location where the VM files will be saved. By default, it is usually in your Documents folder under Virtual Machines. You can change this if you want to store it somewhere else. I will click on Browse and navigate to D drive, Data drive, expand Virtual Machines. I'm going to make a new folder, call this Ansible, and make another folder for this virtual machine. Call this as Ansible-master-node. Click OK. Perfect. That's all set. I'm going to click next. VMware suggests a disk size usually around 20 gig for Ubuntu Server. I'm going to bump this up to 40 gig just to give myself some breathing room for packages and logs. Below that, you'll see 2 options: store virtual disk as a single file, split virtual disk into multiple files. I'm going to choose store virtual disk as a single file because it's a bit faster in terms of performance. So I'm going to click next. All right, now we are at the summary screen. You can see here all the settings we just configured. Before we finish, I'm going to click on Customize Hardware to adjust a few things. On the left side, you will see memory. By default, the memory is set to 4 gig, enough for Ubuntu Server to run smoothly. Next, I'm going to check the processor section. I'm going to leave this to 2 processor cores. That's usually enough for a lab environment. Let me scroll down to network adapter. You'll see it is set to NAT by default. That's fine for most cases. It allows the VM to access the internet through your host machine. If you need bridge networking later, you can always change it. Now, one thing I want to mention here, I am actually going to change the network adapter from NAT to VMnet1. So instead of NAT, I'm going to select custom specific virtual network. And from the dropdown, I'm going to choose VMnet1. The reason I'm doing this is because for my Ansible lab environment, I want all my virtual machines to be on the same isolated network so they can communicate with each other. VMnet1 is a host-only network in VMware Workstation. I have configured to use 192.168.10.x/24 subnet. This way, I can spin up multiple VMs like this Ansible master node and a few managed nodes, and they will be able to talk to each other on that private network. Perfect. Now for this VM, we are going to assign an IP address in the 192.168.10.x range after it boots up. All right, everything looks good. I'm going to click on close. Before I click finish, note the power on this virtual machine after creation checkbox. It's checked by default, meaning the VM will automatically start and boot from the ISO once created, saving you a manual step. I'll leave this check and now click finish to create the virtual machine. You can see our new VM listed on the left side. All right, the VM is booting up. And now you'll see the Ubuntu boot screen appear. What you're seeing now is the grub loader. The first option, try or install Ubuntu Server, is already highlighted. So I'm just going to press enter. Give it a moment to load. All right, now we are in the Ubuntu Server installer. First step is selecting your language. English is selected by default. I'm going to leave it as is. Press enter to continue. Next up is keyboard layout. You'll see a list of keyboard layouts here. For most users, English US is the right choice. If you're using a different layout, feel free to change it. I'm going to keep English US selected and select done and press enter. Now we are asked to choose the type of installation. You will see two options here, Ubuntu Server and Ubuntu Server Minimized. The minimized version has fewer packages and is lighter. That's useful if you want to build up from scratch. I'm going to go with standard Ubuntu Server option, which is already selected. So I'm going to select done and press enter. All right, now we are at network configuration. What you're seeing here is the network interface that VMware Workstation created for this virtual machine. It should already have an IP address assigned via DHCP. You can see the IP address listed here on the screen. For this demo, I'm going to configure a static IP address instead. Let me select the network interface, press enter, and select edit IPv4 and press enter. For the IPv4 method, I'm going to select manual instead of automatic. For the subnet, I'm going to enter my subnet, which is 192.168.10.0/24. For the IP address, I'm going to specify 192.168.10.201, and the gateway is 192.168.10.254. The name server, I will enter 192.168.10.1, which is my Active Directory domain controller, which is also running the DNS server role. And for the search domains, I'm just going to type in my Active Directory domain name, which is tastybiryani.local. Perfect. That's all configured. I will save these settings and I'm going to select done. Press enter to continue. If you're behind a proxy, you would enter that information here. In most home lab scenarios, you don't need a proxy, so I'm going to leave this blank and press enter. Now we are selecting the Ubuntu Archive mirror. This is where the installer will download packages from. The default mirror is usually fine. It's automatically selected based on your location. I'm going to leave it as is, and you can skip the mirror test if your connection is stable. Just press enter to continue. All right, this is the storage layout screen. You'll see a summary of how the installer is planning to partition the disk. By default, it is set to use the entire disk with LVM, which is a good choice for most use cases. LVM gives you flexibility to resize partitions later if needed. I'm going to leave it at the default settings and select done. I'll press enter to continue. Now we get a confirmation screen. It's showing us exactly what's going to be written to the disk. You'll see the details like the partition scheme, the file systems, the mount points, usually ext4 for the main partition, and the size allocations. It is basically saying, here's what I'm about to do to your disk. Are you sure you want to proceed? And this is your last chance to back out if something doesn't look right. Everything looks good to me, so I'm going to select done and press enter. It's warning you that this action will destroy all data on the disk. Since this is a fresh VM, there's no data to worry about. So I'm going to select continue and press enter to proceed with the installation. All right, now we are setting up the user profile. First field is your name. I'm going to enter my name. Next is the service name. This is the host name. I'm going to call it Ansible-master-node. Then we need a username. I'm going to use my name in lowercase. I'm entering my password now, and I'm going to confirm it. There we go, all filled out. Select done and press enter to continue. This is where Ubuntu asks if you want to upgrade to Ubuntu Pro. Ubuntu Pro is a subscription service that gives you extended security updates, compliance tools, and support for additional packages. It's free for personal use on up to 5 machines, but you need to create an Ubuntu One account and get a token. For most home lab scenarios, you don't really need this. I'm going to skip this for now. So just select skip for now, select continue and press enter. Now we are asked if we want to install OpenSSH server. This is really useful because it lets you connect to the server remotely via SSH. I'm going to select install OpenSSH server by pressing the space to check the box. You'll see an X appear in the brackets. Below that, you have an option to import SSH keys. That's optional. I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to select done and press enter to continue. All right, now we are at the featured server snap screen. These are optional. You can always install them later if you need them. For this demo, I'm going to skip this step. So I'm going to select done and press enter to continue. Perfect. Now the installer is running. First, the installer partitions the disk according to the layout we confirmed earlier, creating the necessary partitions for the root, file system, swap space, and bootloader. Once partitioning is complete, you can see here on the screen, it's downloading and installing packages. This is going to take a few minutes depending on your internet speed. So what's happening now is the system is pulling down all the necessary packages from the Ubuntu repositories and installing them to the virtual disk. All right, installation is complete. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a button that says reboot now. I'm going to select that and press enter. The system is rebooting now. Give it a second. You may see a message that says, please remove the installation medium. Just press enter. There we go. The system is booting up now. You'll see some boot messages scrolling by. And now we are at the login prompt. All right, let's log in. It's asking for the username. I'm going to type my name and press enter. Now it is asking for the password. I'm entering that now. There we go. We are in. You can see the welcome message here along with some system information. This shows the Ubuntu version, kernel version, and some other details. Perfect. Ubuntu Server 2404 LTS is now installed and running. Let me just run a quick command to verify everything is working. I'm going to type uname space -a and press enter. What this does is display detailed information about the system kernel. You can see here it is showing the host name, kernel version, and the architecture. Everything looks good. Let me also check the IP address by running IP space A. There we go. You can see the network interface listed here. Our main interface has an IP address assigned manually, just like we configured during installation. Perfect. And that's it. We have successfully installed Ubuntu Server 2404 LTS on VMware Workstation. From here, you can start configuring the server for whatever you need, whether that's setting up a web server, a database, or anything else. If you found this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee using the link in the description, or you can use the thanks button right below this video. Your support really helps me keep creating content like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.